Good day everyone. So obviously you guys know I love the combat in Genshin Impact, and I thought, well, in this video let me share some tips and tricks using a Yamiko spread sort of team with Technery as well as a Kokomi freeze team, and hopefully you guys will sort of see how we can use and weave cooldowns and some of his strategies and positioning tricks that a person like myself uses. And of course I want to share this because I do believe that what you're about to see is an example, just one example of how you should properly be playing Genshin Impact. This is one of those things that I've always been criticizing other content creators for, is their lack of proper game knowledge. So how should you do it properly? Well, positioning is one of the biggest things that not a lot of people talk about, and then the other thing is, how do you overlap cooldowns? So what I mean by overlapping cooldowns is I need to put down all my abilities on the field, and as I move and cycle back through my characters, each one of their abilities should come back online almost at the correct moment. So look here, we've got Shenhe, her elemental burst is going to come right at the moment when I need it. Venti's elemental burst is ready when I need it. Kokomi's jellyfish cooldown is now ready when I need it. And look at that, Ayaka precisely at the moment that I need it is there. I'm going to quickly go to Shenhe, get some particles, back to Ayaka, because as main DPS you want her to build up her ult for the next chamber. So that is how you properly do positioning. Now you have other teams like this team over here where the cooldown overlap is, well, because everyone's got like short cooldowns and so on, you only really need to keep track of officials cooldown and then just sort of interplay between everyone else. So if hopefully you guys saw the little quick double swirl there on Sucrose, as well as me trying to more or less play close to the enemies but not too close as though as to take damage. But the whole point here was to group the enemies, get the aggravate spread, and then obviously hit them very very hard with Yamiko's elemental burst. Right here I'm going to quickly do a Sucrose elemental burst just to animation cancel so that I don't get hit. There's a bit of spread from Technery, and of course this draws in the enemies. His E ability is so strong, it groups up the enemies naturally for me, even though Sucrose is there, but Sucrose cannot group up these enemies, only using her for the VV shred. And yeah, it is pretty much as easy as this. You group up the enemies, you ensure that their electro resistance is shred, you sort of activate quicken, and then with Yamiko you hit both of them, and of course with Technery you try and hit headshots so they will automatically crit, and hence his low crit rate. So what do you do now then when you're on the next floor? Well, in this case I'm just going to sort of check out what my team status is. I just want to see like where are each of my elemental bursts, and as you can see there, most of them are full, as you'd expect from my previous rotation and so on. So I'm just going to quickly play slightly out of order here, just to get up everyone back to where they should be, and then we can more or less follow the same sort of strategy we did earlier. Just going to sort of ensure we shred the cryo resistance, hit them very very hard there with Ayaka, and then of course this one enemy that we couldn't group up, we're just going to try and reduce his health slightly a bit there with Kokomi, and going back here with Shenhe. So unfortunately in this case these enemies don't give me as much particles, so I don't have that very very nice cooldown overlap, but it's okay. Once again just going to shred the cryo resistance, and there we go with Kokomi, and now we're just going to sort of take care of them. It's really not a difficult floor. The key thing is to not to overdo it, because you still want to have a bit of energy for the final floor. But yeah, there are certainly ways of playing this faster, there are ways of building your team to do it faster, but I mean, for something that is chill and casual, I think that should be more or less okay enough. Alright, and now we have of course Magukenki right here. So he's got his wind up period, which means you can start precasting a couple of things, and then of course you need to reduce him by 30, I think it's like 30% health is the sort of threshold, and then he's going to go into his first elemental phase. So once again, look at that, hitting those headshots, getting all those critical hits with Technery is just so important. And now we just sort of quickly iframe him, reset. So not really that was needed, but in this team, the order in which you play is not really that important. One thing that is very very interesting with Magukenki is if you sort of if you time your Technery's like E ability, you can actually keep him in one spot, so you don't need to rely on him going towards the back of the map. And it's also kind of useful for keeping him still if you frequently or like have a lot of uptime on Technery's E. So that's just one thing I found, but yeah, other than that, this is just me cycling through my abilities very very naturally. This is one of the cool things about this little spread team. You've got Fischl with the very very long cooldowns, and then the rest of the team's got relatively short cooldowns. Of course the sacrificial series helping by quite a bit to reset the E abilities, and yeah, look at that, it's not too shabby. Yeah, so for Magakenki, there's nothing much to say. I mean, he's a very stock standard enemy we've all faced like a bazillion times now, so whatever. Alright, so once again, just quickly do a quick cooldown check, and I see that, oh well, it's not too bad, so I can just start funneling. And then I realized, oops, I didn't have everything on Shenhe, but hey, we already started, so let's just sort of do this. We do the Shenhe, the Kokomi, the Venti. So as you guys can see, I'm still keeping to that full core rotation. Gonna do what I'm gonna do here, go back into Kokomi, and now we can take out the enemy. So at this point you might be asking me, well, you know, I see there's Everlasting Moonclaw and I see there's Ocean New Clam set, so where is the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer? Where's the other things? Well, for me, the loss of flexibility in how I can dynamically work and play on the field is a big reason for me not to sort of really run those sets. I know from a Furycraft perspective that's not the optimal thing to do, but in terms of me just wanting to have fun in my own way, that's sort of like how I play it. And besides, I do think there's more than enough time on the clock to warrant not doing the Furycraft thing. In any case, so yeah, here we are at the Tomb God of the Desert King. There's nothing much really to say here, just cycle your cooldown abilities, try to ensure that Miko and Tichneri's sort of elemental burst are ready when he is on the field, or when he's in his weakened state, so you can do a lot of damage. You can see here, we've already been hitting him quite hard, just damage over time coming in like really cool. You can see here he's invisible, so I'm just going to now go to the area that Miko marks. So nice of her elemental burst to mark it. And now, of course, I'm just going to quickly get everyone's abilities. Hey, there's a Miko elemental burst, quickly shred resistance, activate the quicken, and of course there's the aggravate, all of them hitting very hard, and this is the end. So yeah, this is how I play Genshin Impact. Cooldown, overlap, or sort of just dynamically managing your team. That's kind of my play style, and I certainly think it is kind of a very fun way to do so. Let me know what you guys think. Cheers.